That's why, sir, I personally have never read a single book of all this. Neither the Gita, the Upanishads, all that. But what the Buddha has said, it somehow bored me. It meant nothing to me. What has meant anything was to observe.
Mm-hmm.
Observe the very poor in India. Mm. Observe the rich, the dictators, the Mussolinis, the Hitlers, the Khrushchevs and Brezhnev, and all, watch them in a politician. And you learn an awful lot. Because the real book is you. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. If you can read your book, which is yourself, you have learned everything, except the functional knowledge. So, when there is self-knowing, authority has no meaning. I won't accept. Why should I accept these people that bring truth from India? That's not truth they're bringing a tradition. What they believe. So, can the mind put away everything that man has talked or invented, imagined about religion, God, this and that? That means can this mind, which is the mind of the world, which is the mind of common consciousness, can that consciousness empty itself of all the things man has said about reality? Otherwise, I can't. You follow, sir?
Can't begin.
Not only begin. What do I discover? What other
Nothing.
people have said? What Buddha, Christ? Why should I accept them?
Well, the terrible thing is I'm not in a position to grasp whatever they said that was worthwhile until this occurs. This is...
So freedom, sir, is an absolute necessity.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
But none of them say this. On the contrary, they say freedom will come to you much later. Be in the prison for the rest of your life. When you die, you'll have prison. You'll have freedom. That's what they're preaching, essentially. So, can the mind, the heart, and all the storehouse in the brain be free of the things that man has said about reality? So that's a marvelous question, you understand, sir?
Oh, I do. One of the things that seems to me of remarkable cogency in our discussions, in our conversations, has been how continually you've returned to a question.
Yes.
Return to the question. And the notion of return in its depth has, it seems, if I followed you correctly, been quite erroneously presented. The return has been presented as a movement to an answer.
Quite.
But that is not a return.
No, of course not.
No, because the turn is toward that original that you mentioned. Therefore, it is to the question, not to the answer at all.
Quite right.
Quite
right. You know, I was staying once in Kashmir, right among the hill mountains, and a group of monks came to see me. freshly bathed and everything, done all the ceremony and all that, had come to see me. And they said they had just come from a group of unworldly people who were super monks, who are very high up in the mountains. And I said, they're totally unworldly. I said, what do you mean by that word, sirs? He said, they've just left the world. They're no longer tempted by the world. And they have this great knowledge of the world. And I said, when they have left the world, have they left the memory of the world? The memory, the knowledge which the world has made, you follow? Which the gurus have put together, the teachers. He said, that's wisdom. How can you leave wisdom? I said, you mean wisdom is bought through a book, through a teacher, from another, through sacrifice, torture, renunciation? You follow, sir, their idea? That is, wisdom is something you can buy from somebody else. Hmm?
They went up the mountain with all this baggage.
Baggage, that's right. That's exactly what I said. All the baggage which you have put away, the world you have put away, but you carried their baggage. You follow, sir?
Oh, goodness me.
So that is really important thing to if a mind is really very serious, to find out what religion means. Not all this rubbish. I keep on repeating because that seems to be mounting, growing. But to free the mind from all the growth, the accretions. And therefore, which means see the accretions, see all the absurdities.
It throws a very, very different cast on our word worldly.
Yes, that's just it.
They're going up the mountain in order to leave the world, but they're taking immense pains to take it with them.
Yeah, that's right. That's what they're doing when they go into the monastery.
Of course, of course, of course, of course, of course. Goodness. Accretions, incrustations.
So can I come back? Can the mind be completely alone? Not isolated, not withdrawn, not build a wall around itself, say, and then I'm alone. But alone in the sense that aloneness that comes when you put away all this, all the things of thought. You understand? Because thought is so clever, cunning. It can build a marvelous structure and call that reality. But thought is the response of the past. So it is of time. Thought being of time cannot create something which has no time. Thought can function in that field of knowledge, it is necessary, but not in the other. And this doesn't need bravery, it doesn't need sacrifice, it doesn't need torture. Just perception of the false. To see the false is to see the truth in the false. I don't know.
To see the false is to see the truth in the false.
Of course.
I must repeat that again. To see the false is to see the truth in the false.
And see what is considered truth as the false.
Yes. Yes.
So my eyes are stripped of all the force. So that there is no inward deception whatsoever. Because there is no desire to see something, to achieve something. Because moment there is a desire to experience, to achieve, to arrive at enlightenment, all that, there is going to be illusion. Something desire has created. Therefore, the mind must be free of this pursuit of desire and its fulfillment, which we discussed previously. Understand what the structure of desire is. We went to talk about a great deal about that. So, comes to this point, can the mind be free? And free of all the things which are born of fear and desire and pleasure. That means one has to understand oneself at great depth